Hey, welcome back to Already Overbooked. Today, we're stepping into the shadows with Gregg Hurwitz's newest Orphan X novel, Antihero. If you know this series, you already expect those gadgets, those fights, and Evan Smoak's cool presence. But this time, there is a twist that pushes Evan harder than any enemy has before. He's asked to go through and save victims without killing the individuals who hurt them. It's not just a mission, it's a test of his soul. And this book asks us, as readers, whether mercy has a place in a world built on vengeance. So let's go through and jump in. Start with the plot at the heart of Antihero. It is a rescue mission gone complicated. A powerful man, Luke Devine, reaches out to Evan with disturbing news. A young woman has been abducted off a subway and has been brutalized. Evan takes the case because that's who the Nowhere Man is, but quickly discovers that the victim doesn't want revenge and blood. She wants justice, yes, but she draws a line. No killing. From here, the plot starts zigzagging between grimy streets and digital hunts, and even high society circles where the powerful protect their own. Evan is used to being judge, jury, and executioner, but now every fight becomes a chess match. How do you stop monsters without becoming one yourself? The momentum builds to the climax where Evan is forced to make an impossible choice, and Gregg Hurwitz delivers both the action fireworks and the emotional payoffs in this one. So jumping into the writing style, Gregg Hurwitz's style is lean, it's cinematic, and it's really designed to keep you glued into the story. There's those action sequence reads like you're watching it unfold in a slow motion clarity, short type sentences that pop like gunfire. He's not all just grit and steel, though. Hurwitz sprinkles in that dry humor, often through Evan's ward, Joey, whose sarcastic one-liners gives the book really its levity, its freshness throughout the story. The dialogue feels sharp, it's realistic, it has that amazing tension he always brings with his stories. And when Evan goes through and interrogates someone, the words cut all the way through, as much as some of the intense action scenes as well. And while the prose is very effective, Hurwitz knows when to just slow it down a little bit, when to let Evan reflect on grief that occurs, and when to give the victim space for her trauma. It's the balancing of adrenaline and quiet humanity that keeps the writing so engaged. So jumping into the themes and tone, just like every other Orphan X story, there is a huge theme and tones that we have. The vengeance and mercy, the real core of the struggle is Evan's entire identity is built on punishing those predators. So the demand to show mercy really starts rattling him deeply. The novel goes through and discusses corruption and power, and the novel really moves back into the alleys, to the boardroom, to showing how privileged people shields themselves from being guilty compared to those just normal everyday criminals. We have the trauma is built in very deep within the story. The kidnapped woman isn't a background prop within the story. She's a survivor who shapes the mission with her moral compass and keeping Evan in line to really just be a grounded and better person. There is a big avenue here with Evan being that lone wolf, but also being so connected with his other members of his group. So that isolation versus connectivity. Definitely with what happened in the previous book, Evan really is hesitant on that connection avenue within this story. So it is very cool seeing that push and pull within that isolation versus connection themes within this story. The tone is suspenseful, but it's not like hopeless or anything. It has a lot of empathy through the dark moments. It gives off that amazing Orphan X Antihero tone that it does in all the previous books. So it's very well done. Jumping in some of the pros and cons, and we'll start with the pros. The no killing premise was very different and cool, and it added more tension to the story. So I really like that, because normally, if you read all the other Orphan X stories, Evan, most of the books is Evan jumps in, bang, bang, takes people out. But this was a cool, different, fresh spin on that normal formula that Gregg does within his stories. Next is the action. Obviously, is fantastic. You always know that Gregg's going to bring in amazing action for Evan, so amazing job. The character depths were done so well. The victim, the Evan struggles, the story, it really does well with that emotional resonance than just a simple shoot 'em up type of story. So I really do appreciate he's bringing a little bit more of that emotion to the surface through these last few books, and this one's really elevating it up a lot. And yeah, Evan does the story is fantastic. It's one of the better ones within the series, so it was a lot of fun getting back to the core of why everyone's going to go through and love this series. This one's right up there. The cons, with it being book number 11, the villains seemed a little bit simplistic. They were very easy to dislike, and they lacked nuance. You really didn't understand why they were being so cruel. You didn't get that background of understanding the why. What I really enjoy about Gregg's previous antagonist, they were humanized. You understood why they did what they did. Now, you might not agree with them. Well, I know I didn't agree with them, but you understood why they were doing a lot of the bad stuff they were doing. And this one just was lacking in that avenue. It was just like, hey, we need some bad guys. They're just evil to be evil. The hair curling, like, evil guy, what you would expect. And yeah, so I was expecting a little bit more with this on that avenue, but that's just my perspective there. This one was a little bit less brutal also compared to the other ones, so that might be a pushback for other people when you're used to that Evan Smoak bang bang shoot 'em up type of story. This one, with the additional don't kill plot twist of the story, you might not enjoy as much if you're looking for that angle, that retribution, that intensity. This is more of that mercy angle, which could potentially be frustrating to a lot of people, but you should know that before you're jumping in. So let's jump into my final thoughts. Antihero is more than just another Orphan X adventure. It's a huge turning point. It dares to ask if a man forged as a weapon can choose to be merciful, and whether that makes him weaker or stronger. For new people getting into the series, it's still a relentless thriller full of tension, action, and just enough heart to stick with you through the last page. To me, I felt this was a good, solid Orphan X book. I ended up going through and giving this a 7 out of 10. I love the tension, the action, the weight, the moral weight. I could have used a little bit more with the villain's depth, personally. This, again, seemed a little bit over the top. But, it was still a strong entry. A lot of fun. Action junkies are still going to get their fix. Readers who want that moral complexity are also going to have something to go through and chew on. So I want to hear from you. Do you think a vigilante can still be effective without pulling the trigger? And can they be merciful without being weak? So let me know. Drop those down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do. Till I see you in the next one. Stay overbooked.